Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For anybody that's new here, I am Valerie Rocio and I just competed in my first powerlifting meet on Sunday. So that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be a recap of how our meet went. Sir, do you need to play with this toy right now? Do you have to play with Penguin right now? Okay, so the meet went really well. If you do follow me on social media, Instagram, Snapchat, anything, you will see that Taylor and I both placed first place. So we are obviously very, 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 very happy with those results. I did not expect to place at all for my first meet. Our goal was to get all white lights for all of our lifts, and that didn't happen at all. But then we ended up getting first place. So it was kind of ironic because we didn't really care for the placement. We only wanted to worry about our lifts. But I'll just kind of give you a play-by-play. I didn't really take any footage that day just because I wanted to focus on the experience, and we also had no idea what we were doing. So we were like getting in line, not knowing what we were getting in line for. And we didn't really know when to warm up. Like we didn't know how it was organized. So I didn't get any footage because I just wanted to focus on the day. And the only footage I have is of each individual lift. So I'll kind of walk you through those. But like I said, I did this meet with Taylor. She is my best friend. We've been lifting together for a while now. You've probably seen her in some of my other videos and my workouts and stuff. But my goal was to get into the 52 kilogram weight class, which is 125.6 pounds. So I didn't really care. I didn't want to stress too much about getting into a lower weight class. So I didn't diet, I didn't do cardio, I didn't track my macros, but I always hang around about 128 to 130 pounds. That's just where I hang around when I'm not dieting. Like I said, I am 4'11", so I am a thick little girl. I've got some thick legs. I've played soccer my whole life, so I'm not a petite little thing, but I decided to dehydrate or water load and then dehydrate to just try and get into the 52 kilogram weight class. And I was like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, then it's not a huge deal. So I ended up dehydrating all day Saturday for a meet on Sunday, and I ended up weighing in about 2 pounds over. So I needed to be 52 kilograms, and I think I weighed in at 57 kilograms, and I ended up weighing in at 57.9, which is about 2 pounds. So I was like, even if I pee again, like there's no way I'm gonna get into that weight class. So I ended up being in the same weight class as Taylor, which is the 63 kilograms. So although I was weighing at 127 pounds, I was technically in the 138 pound weight class, because once you're above the weight class, you're immediately into the next weight class. So obviously I was competing against girls any weight between 126 to 138 pounds, which is quite a big difference considering I'm 4'11". But it wasn't a huge deal. Like I said, it was for my first meet. We just wanted to kind of see how it goes. So if you haven't done a powerlifting meet before or heard of how powerlifting meets go, it is your squat, your bench, and your deadlift. So my previous squat max was at 230 pounds. My bench was 110 pounds, and my deadlift was 235 pounds. So obviously for the meet, I wanted to hit PRs on all of those. So I went into, I'll just kind of go through it with each lift. So first, the first lift that we do is squats. I wanted to warm up with 200, what did I warm up with? I believe I warmed up with 210 pounds, I think, because I warmed up obviously with something I know I can hit. And then my second lift was 225. With the way it works to get 3 white lights on squats is that you have 1 minute to unrack the bar and get level. The second your bar is level, the judge will tell you to squat. And then once you hit level, you need to come back up. And once he tells you to rack it, you rack it. If you don't follow any of those commands, you get a red light. And if you get 2 red lights, your lift doesn't count. We thought it was 1, so we were really stressing because we thought that the second you got a red light, like your lift didn't counted, but we didn't have it right. So my third squat was, my first squat went well. Obviously, it was a warm up. Second squat went well. And I just wanted to remember to like follow the commands, because obviously when you're lifting in the gym, you don't have commands, you just kind of lift. So I did my third squat and I went for 232 pounds, which is a 2-pound PR for me. Both of us played it safe. We went with PRs that we knew we could hit that weren't significantly more than our current maxes. So a 232 pound squat would technically be a 2-pound PR, which isn't much. So I hit it and it was great, and it was actually really easy. And I was so thrilled that I hit that squat that I just racked the bar immediately. I forgot to wait for the judge, and so my squat didn't count. So 226 had been my second lift, so that was the points I got. So I ended up having 226 on my card, and my 232 squat didn't count, which I was really disappointed because I kind of blew my first PR at the meet because I just didn't wait, and it was just really silly. Like, obviously I was excited, but I just forgot to wait for the command. So then we did bench. With bench, you unrack the bar, and once you're holding it level, he tells you to bench. Once you have it level on your chest, he tells you to press, and once it's level, you can rack it. So I started out with 88 pounds, which was easy. Hit that totally fine. So then my second lift was gonna be 105 pounds, I think. It wasn't much. So obviously with bench it's a little different because every like pound makes a bigger difference than squat, because like your muscles are smaller and you have much smaller PRs on bench and upper body. And so I ended up going down for, I'll show you the video, but I ended up going down for the bench, and on my way up for some reason I paused, came down an inch, and then went up. And the second you come down at all, they take it as a failure. And for one, it's obviously for safety, because if you are lifting much heavier weight, if you are coming down, it's probably because you're not coming up. So that bench didn't count. And then I hit 110 was gonna be my third bench. That wouldn't even be a PR for me. I've benched it before, but I knew I couldn't do 115 pounds or much more. So I was like, I'm just gonna play it safe. I'm gonna bench 110 pounds. And I don't know why. I think it was all mental, and that I was really discouraged from my squats, and I was so nervous about getting red lights that I just couldn't bench it. So you'll see in the video that my left arm just kind of stops and my right arm is doing all the work, and it just didn't come up, so they kind of had to save me. So my second and my third bench didn't count, and I had to take my my first lift, which is an 88-pound bench, which isn't much compared to, I mean, for one, my bench is poverty compared to a lot of the girls, especially in that weight class, but that was just a very pathetic number for me, and I was really disappointed. So at that point, I'm like, my deadlifts have to be freaking incredible. They have to be so good, because I have like almost no numbers on the board at this point. And so I started out with a 225-pound deadlift, and like I said, my prior max was 235. So 225 I can do with no problem. I can do it for multiples. And with deadlift, the only command is once you come up and you have the bar steady, he tells you to drop. So that's when you can put the bar back on the ground. So it's much easier to not get a red light. So I did 225 for my first lift. Obviously it was easy, I've done that so many times. And then I was like, you know, I'm gonna go for my second lift for a PR, just in case I can't hit my third deadlift. So for my second lift, I did 237, which is a 2-pound PR, not much for me, but I just wanted to play it safe because at this point I need my lift to count. So I did a 237 deadlift, absolutely no problem. It was super easy. The weight came off the ground with no problem, and I got 3 white lights. So it counted. So then for my third lift, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for 242, which is a 7-pound PR. Never even touched that weight, never. So I'm like, I'm gonna be lucky if this even comes off the ground. So like mentally, I'm going up there like, put absolutely everything you've got into this to make sure the bar comes off the ground. Like that's all I wanted. I didn't even care if it came all the way up to my waist. I just wanted the bar to come off the ground, because it's the worst feeling when you go for a deadlift and you can't even get it off the ground. So you can see it like in my face when I'm about to walk up to the platform that I'm just like so hopeful that this comes off the ground. So I walk up there, I tighten my belt, and I literally give it everything I've got. And it was easy. Like, I don't understand. It was just an easy lift. I pulled it off the ground with no problem. I got 3 white lights, and you can just see how fast I dropped the bar and turn around and look at Taylor, because I'm like, did you see that? I was like looking around, I was like, did that count? And she's like, yeah, cheering me on. And I'm like, I don't understand how I just did that. Like, I don't know if it was the adrenaline, but also I've been training my percentages with 235 for multiple cycles now. So I guess I've obviously gotten stronger, but I just was not expecting to pull 242. So I was just absolutely in shock at that point. So that completely turned my night around. So even though I got the red lights on the squats, the red lights on the bench, and I just at that point assumed like there's no way we're gonna do even well, like as far as standing goes, I was like, I'm just so glad that I ended the night on that deadlift. And I was like telling the girls, I was like, I'm so happy, I could probably cry at this point. And so I was just thrilled with that. So then at this point, like I think we got there at 7 a.m. and it's almost like 6 o'clock at night at this point. So we're just exhausted, and we're like, well, we're obviously we didn't place or anything. So do we even stay for the medals or the awards? But we talked about it and we're like, well, this is our first meet. Let's just kind of see how it goes, and let's get our cards, our scorecards, so we can see what our actual numbers were. So we were waiting around and we're just kind of chatting while they're doing awards. And then all of a sudden they said, first place for 63 kilograms junior, and they called my name. And I'm just looking around like, that's my name, what? And I was so in shock that I'm like walking up there like just stunned, because I could not believe she just called my name. So I'm looking at Taylor, I'm like, how did I just get first place in a weight class I didn't even want to be in? So I did register for junior and open because I am 22 and junior's up until 23. And so this will probably be the last meet I can ever do, unless I did a meet before April when I turned 23. And so unless they allow you to wire 23, don't know for sure. But I did just register for open and junior. And so I got first place out of the junior 63 kilograms, which means I got the highest scores out of everybody in the 63 kilogram weight class that registered for junior. For all I know, nobody else might have registered for junior, but I still got a medal, and I am gonna be banging that drum for a long time. So we're both, oh hi, did you wanna be in the video? So then I go back over to Taylor and my boyfriend, and we're just talking, and then they call out first place for 63 kilograms open, and Taylor wins it. So we were just like so in shock and so beyond happy that we just both got a first place medal at our first meet when we thought that we did absolutely terrible. So it was just an incredible experience, and we're obviously very happy with the outcome, and we are going to compete again in the summer. So we're going to take a little bit of time off. I'm going on vacation for a little bit to Mexico, and then I'm gonna get back on my powerlifting training after that. So I'm gonna do some bodybuilding for a little bit, but we were just obviously so excited with the outcome. But I just wanted to give you all a recap on how things went and how each lift went, and kind of like my thought process during the whole thing. But yeah, it obviously went very, very well, and I'm so, so proud of myself, and I love this sport so much. Like, I made the transition from bikini to powerlifting, and I definitely prefer powerlifting over it. I will probably do a video on my opinion of powerlifting versus bikini. Obviously, I've only done one competition in both, so that's just from my experience, but I'll probably do a video on that. But yeah, that's just a recap of how the USAPL Winter Games 2017 meet went. So we got first place, and I couldn't be happier. I know a lot of people checked in to see how we did, and I'm so appreciative of it. Thank you so much for your support. So just make sure you check back for some more workout footage and when I get back on training and my Mexico trip, and I will see you guys later.